Growing old brings many kinds of pain, but some wounds go deeper than the body. This is the story of a 74-year-old mother who was betrayed by her only son, and the quiet, powerful journey of forgiveness and healing that followed. Mai is 74 years old. She gave everything to her child, her time, her love, even her health. Like many mothers, she believed, "If I raise my son with all my heart, he will always protect me." But life doesn't always return the love we give. 3 months ago, while recovering in the hospital after a minor stroke, she discovered something shocking. Her house, the one she had lived in for over 30 years, had been transferred. The signature? Not a stranger's. Her son's. He didn't answer her calls. Only a short message. On the third text, "Mom, please rest." She didn't cry, but she felt something deeper than sadness. A hollowness that came not from losing her home, but from realizing she had no place in her son's heart. After leaving the hospital, she didn't return home. She went to a small temple she had visited during Vulan seasons. But this time, she didn't come to pray. She came to sit, to breathe. Each morning, she meditated in a quiet garden corner. No blame, no anger, just stillness. She remembered the words of an old monk. Those who hurt others are usually suffering themselves. So she let go of hatred and pitied her son for planting such unwholesome seeds. She told herself, this too is karma ripening. 3 weeks later, her son came to the temple. No shoes, no excuses, just tears. "Mom, I was wrong." She didn't ask why. She didn't scold. She simply said, "If I become a burden to you, then let me live lightly. Not a burden to anyone, not even to my own heart." Today, she lives in a small room near the temple. No television, no drama, just morning walks, plants in the afternoon, and meditation at night. She started a small fund to support lonely elderly women, not for fame, but to return dignity to those the world forgets. When someone asks, "Aren't you angry?" she smiles and says, "Anger is a fire you light yourself and sit in alone." She didn't seek revenge. She chose mindfulness over bitterness, stillness over noise, and peace over pain. If you've ever felt betrayed, she understands. But healing begins not when others change, but when you stop waiting for them to. They may take your house, but no one can take your peace if you choose to sit and breathe. Dear one, if you are hurting, please don't hate. Just sit. Just breathe. And you'll see, no one can break you unless your heart agrees to it. You may not have gone through what she did, but if you've ever sacrificed for your children, felt neglected, carried the weight of silence or coldness, then maybe these lessons are meant for you too. So now, I invite you to sit down with me and listen to 6 lessons soaked in compassion, distilled from a heart that has known deep pain, but never chose resentment. Lesson 1. Love deeply, but without attachment. Have you ever loved someone so much that you forgot yourself? You gave them everything, your care, your time, your sacrifices, only to one day realize they've moved on, far ahead. And you're still standing there, heart hollow and aching. That's exactly what happened to the mother in our story. She lived her entire life for her son. But in the end, she learned one powerful truth, that love, without wisdom, can lead to suffering. Before we talk about letting go, we need to understand what truly causes pain in love. Love is the most beautiful quality we carry as human beings. But when love becomes entangled with attachment, it can quickly turn into control, expectation, and heartbreak. This mother once believed, if she loved her son with all she had, he would never abandon her. But life doesn't always follow our beliefs. And that's when the Buddha's teaching came alive for her. The Buddha said, "The root of suffering is attachment." Let's pause for a moment. So, what is attachment really? Attachment is when you treat someone as your lifeline, when you expect them to always love you, need you, appreciate you, and when they don't, your world collapses. But if you look deeply, you'll see it's not love that causes pain. It's the need to hold on, to make someone stay the same forever. True love doesn't cling. It doesn't trap. True love is giving without expecting anything in return. It's being present without demanding. It's understanding without needing to possess. In that light of understanding, the mother in our story didn't choose anger, she chose compassion. She didn't hate her son because she understood. Love doesn't mean keeping someone from leaving. It means not falling into despair when they do. She had given him everything. But in the end, she realized, no one, and not even her own child, can be her permanent refuge. In Theravada Buddhism, this is clearly seen in the nature of non-self, anat, and impermanence, anicca. What we call family is, in truth, just a temporary meeting of karmic causes and conditions. Every relationship, no matter how close, is subject to the cycle of arising, persisting, changing, and ending. If we don't see that, we get attached. And from that attachment, suffering grows. We lose ourselves chasing someone we can never hold forever. So if you're in your later years, if you've loved deeply throughout your life, how do you turn that love into wisdom? Here are 3 gentle reflections to carry with you. 1. When you love someone, ask yourself, am I truly loving them? Or am I relying on them to feel valuable? 2. Practice giving without waiting for return. Every time you care for someone, whisper to your heart, I do this from goodness, not because I want to be loved back. 3. When someone close doesn't treat you as you hoped, look deeper. Am I clinging to an image of who they used to be? Or am I wishing they would forever remain the person I once loved? If so, take a deep breath and release. You're not losing them. You're returning to yourself. The mother in our story, she learned to let go. Not because she stopped loving her son, but because she began loving him with wisdom, not with need. And because of that, she found true peace. The kind of peace that attachment can never bring. To love with all your heart doesn't mean losing yourself. And to love without clinging is the only path to true freedom. Lesson 2. No pain lasts forever, because everything is impermanent. Have you ever felt like you'd never get through a certain kind of pain? A loss, a betrayal, or a shock so deep that it made you want to give up entirely? Made you believe your life would forever be stuck in that moment? If you've ever felt that way, then the story of the mother in this video may gently remind you, no pain lasts forever, because everything is impermanent. When her son betrayed her selling the house she lived in, she didn't scream. She didn't hate. She didn't fight. She simply sat down and followed her breath. Though she was hurting, she knew, this too shall pass. In life, when suffering shows up, our first instinct is usually to resist it. We wish it hadn't happened. We wish we could turn back time. We ask, why me? But dear friend, suffering isn't wrong. It's simply a part of life's natural flow, and just like everything else, it, too, will pass. The Buddha taught, all conditioned phenomena are impermanent. What does that mean? It means everything that comes into being is constantly changing. Nothing, whether joyful or painful, can stay the same forever. Happiness doesn't last forever, but neither does sorrow. What truly makes us suffer is not that pain exists, but the belief that it will never end. In Theravada Buddhism, impermanence, anicca, isn't just a theory. It's a reality meant to be experienced, moment by moment. When you mindfully observe your breath, your body, and your emotions, you begin to see clearly. Emotions arise then pass. The breath flows in then out. Anger flares then fades. And with that awareness, you're no longer swept away by the chaos. You're no longer devoured by pain. You don't need to blame anyone. You just sit still and realize everything is moving. Imagine this. Every painful feeling is like a giant wave. It may crash over you for a moment, but if you don't resist, if you don't panic, if you simply float and breathe, you'll see every wave eventually settles. The mother in our story didn't use force to fight her pain. She used awareness and breath to move through it. And in her stillness, she walked through the storm, more safely and gracefully than anyone imagined. So how can you, in your 70s or 80s, learn to live with impermanence without suffering? It's actually quite simple. No philosophy required, no complex practices. Just one thing, a daily habit of looking deeply. 1. Each night before bed, write down 3 things that happened that day. They could be a phone call you were hoping for that never came, a tasty meal, a small ache in your knee. Then remind yourself, all of this has already passed. 2. Set a gentle reminder every 3 hours. When it rings, pause. Breathe and feel that you're alive. Breathe out, let go of whatever you're holding too tightly. And quietly say to yourself, this too will change. 3. When sadness comes suddenly, say in your mind, hello, sadness. I see you're here. And I also know you'll go. In this way, you don't push feelings away, but you don't let them trap you either. Dear friend, life is always changing. People come and go. Our bodies grow strong and then weaken. Joy rises and fades. Sadness arrives and dissolves. But if you stay steady with your breath, you'll see nothing can truly knock you down, because you're no longer clinging to anything. The mother in our story found peace, not because her son came back, but because she saw one deep truth. No pain lasts forever, because everything is impermanent. Lesson 3. Every wound is a result of karma. Accept it with wisdom and equanimity. Have you ever been deeply hurt by someone close to you? By someone you once gave everything for, only to find they were the one who hurt you the most? If you've ever been in that place, you may have asked yourself, did I do something wrong? Why would they treat me this way? In the story of the mother whose son sold her house while she was in the hospital, the most admirable thing wasn't that she fought back. It was that she sat still, breathed gently, and calmly accepted what had happened. She didn't ask, why me? She simply said to herself, this is the unwholesome karma I once created. Now it is bearing fruit. To understand this, we must return to a fundamental truth in the Buddha's teachings. Karma. The Buddha taught, beings are the owners of their karma, the heirs to their karma. We often think pain is something others cause us, but one who has insight knows every situation in our life is the result of seeds we have planted, whether in this life or many lives before. Pain is not a punishment. It is simply the result of unwholesome karma ripening. The mother in this story understood that. She didn't blame her son. She didn't curse her fate, because she knew the bitter fruit I taste today was once a seed I sowed. And when you understand that deeply, you no longer react with anger. Instead, you respond with wisdom and equanimity. In Theravada Buddhism, karma is not some rigid destiny. It is a fluid cycle of cause-condition effect, always unfolding. When a painful result arises, if we respond with rage, resentment, or self-pity, we plant more unwholesome seeds, and the cycle of suffering continues. But if we receive that result with a steady heart, without denial, without struggle, we transform the karmic flow. We plant a new seed, the seed of awareness and understanding. That's why the Buddha taught, do not rejoice in gain, do not grieve in loss. Equanimity is wisdom. But how can we stay balanced? When faced with betrayal or deep emotional wounds, no one starts out perfect. We begin with a single conscious breath. And every time we choose not to react, we begin to walk the path of awakening. 1. When faced with hardship, pause for 3 seconds. Don't react. Don't speak right away. Just take one deep breath and silently say to yourself, "This is karma. I will meet it with a steady heart." 2. Create a personal mantra for the day, simple but powerful. Examples: stillness is strength. I do not react to observe. Repeat it in your mind whenever something upsets you. 3. Each night, write down one thing that bothered you. Then next to it write, "A result is unfolding. I am learning to stay calm." This won't erase the pain, but it will lift you out of the role of the victim. It turns you into someone who sees clearly where you are and what must be done. The mother in our story didn't merely endure her situation. She embraced it as a truth, without blame, without collapse. And because of that, she didn't fall deeper into the cycle of suffering. Instead, she slowly stepped out of it through understanding. Dear friend, when painful karma ripens, you can fight it and suffer longer, or you can sit still, observe, and let go. And in doing so, you'll find that you are not defeated. You are lifted from within. Every wound is a doorway. Those with wisdom and equanimity will walk through. Those who simply react will end up right where they began. So ask yourself, are you ready to walk through that door? And remember, no one can make you suffer unless your own mind agrees. And no challenge is stronger than a balanced mind. Lesson 4. Those who hurt others are the ones in pain. They deserve compassion, not blame. Have you ever asked yourself, why is it that the one I cared for the most, the one I sacrificed everything for, is the very person who hurt me the deepest? Most people's first response is anger, resentment, or a desire to seek justice. But the mother in this story, she didn't choose that path. She didn't yell. She didn't hate. She simply said one quiet sentence: "He's suffering." A simple sentence, but it opened a doorway. A doorway to understanding and to compassion. In life, when someone hurts us, we often assume they're a bad person, selfish, ungrateful, cruel. And from that belief, we build a wall of anger, trapping both them and ourselves inside. But if we look deeper, as the mother in this story did, we begin to see those who do wrong are not necessarily evil. They're suffering. Her son didn't sell the house out of joy. He did it out of greed, out of fear, out of ignorance. And all of these are rooted in inner suffering. The Buddha taught, hatred does not end through hatred. Only through compassion does hatred cease. The mother understood. If she responded with anger, she would be doing the very same thing her son had done, spreading more pain. So instead, she chose to see him through the eyes of compassion, with the understanding that he's planting unwholesome seeds and one day he'll face the bitter fruit. And because of that perspective, she stepped out of the cycle of anger, blame, and sorrow. She kept her heart clear, and she kept the door open for the day he might return. In Theravada Buddhism, all harmful actions arise from greed, hatred, and delusion, the 3 poisons. And anyone trapped in these poisons is already suffering deeply in ignorance. When you truly understand this, you no longer see them as bad people who need punishment, but as beings who have lost their way, who need to be released not with bitterness, but with non-attachment. The one who hurt you may seem like they've won, but in truth, they may be falling apart inside and don't even realize it yet. And if you respond with anger, you fall with them. But if you stay grounded in compassion, you become a peaceful mountain in the middle of a storm. So how do you practice compassion when you're the one hurting? Not by pretending you're not hurt, not by forcing yourself to forgive too soon, but by seeing clearly that the other person is in pain and choosing not to let their pain infect your heart. 1. When someone hurts you, silently think, this person is suffering. You don't need to say it aloud. You just need to see it clearly. That seeing is the first step of compassion. 2. Write this sentence 3 times a day. I will not add more anger to this world. This isn't just a sentence to read. It's a reminder that you have the power to break the chain of suffering. 3. When you feel the urge to react, pause. Take 1 deep breath and turn inward. I don't need to win in this anger. I only need to make sure it doesn't win over me. Compassion is not weakness. It is the deepest strength of someone who understands. The mother in this story didn't stay silent because she was powerless. She chose stillness, not because she was weak, but because she understood. Compassion doesn't just heal others. It protects your own heart from becoming poisoned. Dear friend, maybe you've been hurt before, but from now on, you can choose a new response. Not one rooted in rage, but in the insight that sees suffering at its root. Those who hurt others have already lost their peace. So may you be the one who keeps yours, no matter what happens outside or inside. Lesson 5. Forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself, not just to others, but to your own heart. Have you ever held on to resentment for years? Have you ever said, I will never forgive that person. They don't deserve it. I just can't let it go. If you've ever thought that you're not alone, the pain caused by someone you trusted, someone you once loved, can leave a wound deeper than most. But in the story of the mother who was betrayed, there's one moment that made many people pause in silence. She chose to forgive. Not because her son deserved it, but because she understood something profound. If she held on to resentment, she would be the one who suffered most. Forgiveness doesn't mean saying, it's okay. It doesn't mean denying the truth or pretending it never happened. Forgiveness means looking directly at the wound, acknowledging it's still there, and then gently putting it down so you no longer have to carry it every single day. The mother in this story never forgot what her son did. She didn't pretend she wasn't hurt, but she knew one thing clearly. Holding onto anger only weighed her heart down even more. The Buddha taught, a mind free of hatred is a mind that is truly at peace. So she forgave, not because he was worthy of it, but because she was worthy of peace. Forgiveness isn't weakness. It's the courageous act of someone who chooses to heal. When you forgive, you're not saying what they did was right. You're simply refusing to let what they did continue to control your mind. In Theravada Buddhism, forgiveness is not a gift we give to others. It's the release of attachment, so that anger, hatred, and delusion don't bind us anymore. When someone hurts us, and we cling to that pain, it's like feeding a fire inside our own heart. Every time we remember it, we burn ourselves a little more. Forgiveness is the act of putting out that fire, of saying, no more. It is a wise and freeing decision. But how do you forgive when you're still hurting? You don't need to pretend it doesn't hurt. You don't need to force a smile. You just need to start with one small decision. I won't let this person keep hurting me through my own memory of them. 1. Each night before bed, place your hand on your heart and quietly whisper, I forgive, so that I can rest in peace. This won't change the past, but it will change how you feel tomorrow. 2. When old memories return, take a deep breath and remind yourself, I am not the keeper of the past. I am someone who chooses to live in the present. Forgiveness is not a feeling. It's a choice you make every day. When you finally decide to love yourself. The mother in our story forgave, not because she forgot, but because she refused to live even one more day with a heart full of hatred. Dear friend, if there's a wound you're still carrying, a person who once hurt you, remember this. Forgiveness won't change them, but it will change you. Forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself, a door to peace, a quiet step back into the present moment. Lesson 6. True happiness can only be found within, through breath and mindfulness. Have you ever felt like you've tried everything, and yet peace still feels so far away? You tried to hold the house together for your children. You tried to be the good one. You sacrificed. You waited. But what you received in return was emptiness, silence, and pain. The mother in this story once felt the same. She was betrayed. She was cast aside. But instead of fighting for her property or demanding justice, she chose a different path. She came home to herself. She didn't run to the law. She didn't chase after apologies. She didn't look for someone to lean on. She simply sat with her own breath. And in that stillness, she found a happiness that wasn't dependent on anyone or anything. No one comforted her. No one said, "I'm sorry." But her own calm mind did that for her. It was a peace with no conditions. A kind of happiness only someone who has touched the Dhamma can understand. The Buddha said, "By oneself is evil done. By oneself is one purified." No one can save another. Each of us is our own refuge. These words aren't meant to make us feel alone. They're a gentle reminder that the safest place to return to is within ourselves. Material things can be taken. People can change. Love can fade. But your breath is always there, ready to welcome you back. In Anapana, meditation mindfulness of breathing, you don't have to do anything. Just sit still and observe the breath moving in and out at the nostrils. No control, no analysis, no expectations, just watching with awareness. You might think, that's it? But it is in that simplicity that you begin to feel a real joy, not given by anyone and not dependent on anything. That's why the mother in the story didn't fall apart. She had a refuge within, a place that couldn't be sold, taken, or betrayed, because it was mindfulness and breath. So how can you at your age begin returning inward? You don't need to go to the mountains. You don't need books or theory. You just need 10 minutes a day. 1. Sit in stillness for 10-15 minutes a day. Choose a quiet time, perhaps early morning before breakfast or evening before bed. No complex postures needed. Just sit comfortably in a chair, spine gently upright, hands resting on your palms up or down. It doesn't matter. If your body feels tired, you can lean against a wall. What matters is that you feel stable and alert. Close your eyes gently, as if you're listening to a soft, quiet song. Don't force your mind to calm down. Don't try to meditate well. Just notice your breath moving in and out at the tip of the nose. Don't control it. Don't interfere. Just observe it like watching a small stream flow by. Your mind will wander. You'll think about the past, your children, unfinished things. That's okay. When you notice it, don't scold yourself. Smile gently inside and return to the breath. That's all. Just breath by breath, 10 minutes a day. No right or wrong, no deep or shallow. Just you coming home. The breath is your most loyal companion. When no one listens, your breath still does. When life changes, your breath is still there to carry you back. And if you keep doing this for 10-15 minutes daily, you may begin to feel a quieter mind, deeper sleep, less harsh reactions, a soft, subtle peace, not from anyone else, but from you. You don't have to believe it. Just try. 10 minutes, and let the breath do the rest. 2. While washing dishes, walking, or sipping tea, practice 1 minute of silence. Just breathe. Just feel. That too is meditation. That too is returning home. 3. After each sit, write down one short line. I'm still here. I am enough. Just breathing, I am home. The breath is the bridge between body and mind. And every time you return to it, you take a step away from suffering. The mother in this story didn't find happiness in others. She found it within each quiet breath. And because of that, she could stand up again without needing anyone to pull her up, without needing anyone to validate her worth. If you've ever felt lost in the middle of old age, if you've ever thought, there's nothing left for me to hold on to, then please remember this. You still have your breath. You still have your awareness. And you can still come home to yourself the moment you pause and breathe. Happiness is not out there somewhere. It's waiting for you. Right here. In each mindful breath. Right now, right here. Dear friend, if you've stayed with me until now, perhaps you, like me, are learning how to gently let go of the things we no longer need to carry. Because, in the end, when the children are grown, when the things we once clung to have faded with the years, what remains is ourselves and this brother truest companion. Aging doesn't have to be the final chapter of sorrow and regret. It can be a resting place filled with insight, where there's no longer anything to chase, because everything we need has always been here, in our hearts, if we just pause, listen, and breathe. If even one of the 6 lessons we shared touched something inside you, hold it like a lotus blossom, rising from the mud, but unstained by it. And if you still carry an old resentment or hidden pain, try sitting quietly with your breath, not to force forgiveness in one day, but to let peace seep in gently, like soft rain falling on a rooftop. The Buddha taught, by oneself is good done. By oneself is purified. By oneself is the refuge, other is no other. You don't need someone else to save you. Because the moment you begin breathing mindfully, you've already taken a powerful step away from suffering. If you feel called, share with me below. Which of the 6 lessons moved you the most? Even a few lines of your story might become a small light to guide someone else who's quietly seeking peace. Thank you for staying, for listening, and for breathing with me. I'll see you again in another video, just as gentle and sincere as you are.